Next on News 4 at 5, you are there as authorities bust yet another safe house for illegal aliens. John Miller's got an exclusive report.
Another accused terrorist faces the judge in the plot to bomb New York. We'll tell you what happened. And the pretty woman is now a married woman. Julia Roberts and Lyle Lovett tie the knot. Next.
This is WNBC for New York. And now, this is News for New York.
And good evening, everyone. Chuck has the night off. I'm Matt Lauer.
And I'm Sue Simmons. It happened again. Illegal Chinese immigrants held by alleged smugglers and exploited for money and labor. A special police unit is uncovering the true scope of these operations. News 4's John Miller was there exclusively as police moved in.
Well, Sue, since the, of course, Golden Venture ran aground in Queens, we've been keeping a very close eye on this story as it's been developing, and it developed a little more again today. They were weary, they were tired, they were frightened. It was the end of a long journey, and another story of smuggling, slavery, and it came to a close today on a quiet street in Queens. For detectives, here is how today's story unfolded. The prisoners, again, Chinese immigrants from the Fujian province, were being held in this house on 73rd Road. Inside, with no air conditioning, it was over 90 degrees. The windows were nailed shut in the makeshift dungeon. The Chinese illegal immigrants pay snakeheads or smugglers up to $30,000. Then they are held by the Fujian gang here in New York till they can pay off the balance of what they owe. The Emergency Service A-Team, or Tactical Apprehension Team, hit the small house just after 2 o'clock. Of course, they are still at work putting this case together. Officials from the Immigration and Naturalization Service have arrived here to sort through who was a smuggled alien and who was a member of the Fujian gang that's involved in this smuggling process. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you the story of exactly how the case unfolded today and take you on the same trail followed by detectives who broke this investigation. Reporting live from the 109th Precinct in Queens, John Miller, News 4 New York.
Okay, John, thank you. The latest on the plot to bomb New York includes two unsettling revelations. The suspected ringleader in the conspiracy, Sadiq Ibrahim Sadiq Ali, once worked as a security guard for a company housed in the World Trade Center before it was bombed. And there is a report that two Sudanese diplomats plan to provide special license plates and ID cards to the terrorists so they could plant a bomb inside the United Nations building. Plus, an eighth suspect in conspiracy made a courtroom appearance today. The judge refused to give him a break. News 4's Tiwa Chang is live in Lower Manhattan to tell us more about what happened in court. Tiwa?
Well, what happened basically was a bail hearing for the eighth suspect here at the U.S. federal court. His name is Fadil Abdelghani, and to no one's surprise, the judge denied him bail, saying he was a risk to the community and a risk of flight. Before U.S. Magistrate Judge James Francis, the defendant, 31-year-old Fadil Abdelghani from Jersey City, sought to be released on bail. But Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrew McCarthy argued that Fadil should be denied bail because he was a danger to the community. The government had videotaped, McCarthy said, of Abdelghani actually mixing chemicals in a 55-gallon drum to make the bombs intended, they say, for the UN 26 Federal Plaza and the Holland and Lincoln tunnels. McCarthy said Abdelghani was from the Sudan, where his entire family still lived, even though he was a legal permanent U.S. resident. The assistant U.S. attorney seemed to imply Abdelghani became a legal resident by marrying an American woman whom he never sees anymore. Defense attorney Charles Levine only asked for the ability to come back at a later date if his defendant can raise money for bail, but offered no defense for his client, who said he's innocent. Judge Francis denied Abdelghani the bail, saying he was both a risk of flight and a danger to the community. Abdelghani, who worked as a livery cab driver for Cousins Medical Delivery Service in Jersey City, did not express any emotion. Now, curiously enough, some court documents I happened to look at earlier this afternoon indicate the only possession that Abdelghani says he has is a $3,000 Dodge van. It will be interesting to see whether or not the prosecution tries to link that van with the alleged suspected bombing attempt. A further note of the 8 suspects who are now in custody, all of them in fact are in custody a block behind me here at the Metropolitan Correctional Facility. Those 8 suspects, 6 of them will have bail hearings for the rest of the week. Only the suspected ringleader, Sadiq Ibrahim Sadiq Ali, has been held in detention without any hearing at all. Basically, nolo contendere means he's not contesting his detention. Reporting live in Lower Manhattan, Tiwa Chang, News 4, New York.
Tiwa, does it appear that the other bail hearings will go very much like today's?
If one had to guess, certainly it seems that way. In the courtroom, it seemed as if it was a foregone conclusion that his bail would be denied. I mean, because of the publicity and the overwhelming evidence, especially when he said that they actually have him on videotape. The government's claim is they actually have these suspects on videotape mixing the bomb in those 55-gallon drums.
And what about the other suspects? Are they also on videotape, and are their circumstances similar?
We don't know yet, but certainly a number of them were. That safe house, according to the FBI, was a safe house that their own confidential informant had set up, and it put cameras inside of that. So one would have to believe at least a large number of them are on videotape, and that will certainly come out during the bail hearings during the rest of the week.
All right, Tiwa, thank you very much.
Well, it looks like a quiet camp in a rural part of Pennsylvania, but tonight federal agents say it's a training ground for terrorists who set their violent sights on New York City. The camp is in the town of New Bloomfield, 30 miles northwest of Harrisburg. The 35-acre retreat was searched for 5 hours on Saturday by federal authorities hunting for weapons. They were led to the camp by Imad Ali Salem, the undercover informant who helped expose the terrorist ring. Several suspects in the World Trade Center bombing, as well as some of the 8 men arrested in last week's plot, are believed to have trained at that camp. Kevin Rosen is at the camp, and he'll have more tonight on News 4 at 6.
The plot to bomb New York is just the latest case where police have drawn links between the suspects and New Jersey Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman. But the Sheikh remains free, apparently on orders from Washington. News 4's Ben Farnsworth is live in Jersey City to explain what some are calling a hands-off policy. Ben?
Well, Matt, the Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman is not in his apartment now, and in fact hasn't been here for the last couple of days. The last time he was seen was Saturday afternoon. Some reporters followed him as far as they could, and he was heading down the New Jersey Turnpike. One of the people who was with him quipped that they were going to Atlantic City. But his whereabouts at this point are still unknown. And of course, although he is not to be found, there is still an awful lot of talk about him because, as we know, the investigation has centered on the Sheikh and the question why he has not been arrested. And there are a number of theories being put forth. Of course, the obvious one that we have read about so much in the press the last few days has been presented by the government, that the information they have on him is fuzzy, that they don't have enough evidence to pursue him in the case, even though, of course, his voice has shown up on some of the tapes, according to reports, and that he had prior knowledge to the plot. Another theory is that he is a magnet who is drawing these terrorist-prone individuals around him, and that the government would like to keep him in place right where he is so that so that the government can keep an eye on these people. And of course, the third is that he may be more helpful than we think. There are some people who think that the Sheikh himself may be helping the U.S. government in this regard. So at this point, the Sheikh is nowhere to be found. The question is, why hasn't he been arrested? And the inside information from some Middle Eastern experts is that the government may not want him arrested at this point. Matt, Sue, back to you.
Ben, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, Iraq's chief of intelligence swears that his country will retaliate for the U.S. missile raid on Baghdad. Washington says it bombed Saddam Hussein's intelligence center in response to a foiled Iraqi plot to kill former President Bush. However, the White House also had to admit that some civilian areas were also hit. News 4's Wendy Rieger reports live from Washington, where President Clinton is standing by his decision to open fire. Wendy?
President Clinton was talking up the attack today. In fact, he said the U.S. dealt a crippling blow to the Iraqi intelligence service, and he is once again defending his reasons for doing it.
I did exactly what I said I'd do in the campaign. When confronted by circumstances like this, the evidence was clear, and we took the appropriate action. And it was the right thing to do for the United States, and I feel quite comfortable with it.
President Clinton was unusually chatty at his cabinet meeting this morning. Flanked by his secretaries of state and defense, he once again defended the Baghdad bombing and confirmed its success.
I want to say that this morning I received a report from the National Security Advisor about the action in Iraq over the weekend, confirming that we did, in fact, cripple the Iraqi intelligence capacity, which was the intent of the action.
Since the attack, the U.S. has presented evidence to the UN detailing how Iraq was going to kill former President Bush, right down to the design of the bomb. Ambassador Madeleine Albright said it followed an Iraqi blueprint.
These are built so identically the same that we are highly confident that this is done by the same person or persons.
And while the Tomahawk missiles are touted for their accuracy, the Pentagon says 3 missiles did miss their mark and hit a residential area, killing 8 people. Iraqi television has been flooding the airwaves with pictures of the wounded and showed thousands of Iraqis marching in the streets to protest the bombing. Western reporters say the demonstration was not spontaneous, but well orchestrated by the Iraqi government. Iraq continues to deny any involvement in the assassination plot. Iraq's ambassador to Japan says it doesn't make sense to kill a former president.
Bush is a dead man politically. He is out. He has no power at all. So why assassinate him?
A new USA Today CNN Gallup poll finds 66% of Americans who were questioned approve of the attack. More than half thought it was an appropriate response. But more than half are now worried about more terrorism in the United States. But President Clinton says the message to Iraq is a message to others as well.
And I think other terrorists around the world need to know that the United States will do what we can to combat terrorism.
And just to back up those words, the president is moving the aircraft carrier Roosevelt into the Red Sea just to add some U.S. muscle to the region. The president says he would like to get back to his domestic agenda now, specifically the budget on Capitol Hill and the economic summit that's coming up next week in Tokyo. I'm Wendy Rieger reporting live from the White House. Back to you, Sue, Matt.
Wendy, thank you very much. Former President Bush continues to have no public reaction to Saturday's attack on Iraq. At his summer home in Kennebunkport, Maine, the former president made it clear he wants to stay out of the spotlight.
Our house, but I really am not going to do any interviews or say anything about anything. Life goes on. I'm a private citizen, and it's the most wonderful feeling.
President Bush went on to say he's trying to show that you can be president and then return to a normal life. And a White House spokesperson is saying a reported Iraqi plot to assassinate retired General Norman Schwarzkopf would be very unwise. The former Desert Storm commander who led the troops that expelled Iraq from Kuwait has been placed under a heavy guard. Police and Army troops are reportedly watching his home in Tampa, Florida. The White House has also said it would respond to any attack on General Schwarzkopf.
Still ahead on News 4, gambling on graduation. Some Bronx teachers are accused of betting on how many students would get their diplomas, and parents are fighting mad. What happens when cosmetic surgery doesn't completely cover up a defect? A new procedure gives many the look they hoped for.
And actress Julia Roberts ties the knot in a surprise ceremony. We'll have more on this showbiz couple, but first, Al is here with a look at tonight's weather.
That's right, Matt. We may have some thunderstorms, but boy, was it hot today. A record set in Newark at 99. We didn't quite set the record here in Central Park, but it was pretty warm. We'll tell you how long the heat's going to last and a whole lot more when News 4 at 5 continues.
If you need light bladder control protection, like I do, let me share something. I was using maxi pads. They were the right size, wrong protection. Then I found Poise pads from Depend, and they're made especially for our needs. Poise pads are small, like the leading maxis, but they absorb 50% more. And Poise has an amazing absorbent layer that locks liquid in. Finally, the protection I need.
Sunday for just $1.79.
Coming up on News 4 at 6, New Jersey cracks down on violent criminals. A new law that may make you safer this weekend. Coming up on News 4 at 6.
Everyone, please be on their best behavior at Uncle Mel's party. This means no mention of Cousin Ed's indictment. A man is innocent until proven guilty, even a thief like Ed. And Mel's new wife is to be addressed as Marcia and not numero cinco.
That's it. I'm not going.
Now, is everybody clear on who was Cousin Harold and who was Cousin Lawrence?
Lawrence is the one who whistles.
No, Harold is the one who whistles. Lawrence is the one with the funny pants.
Oh, I cannot be in the same room with him?
Eileen, where's the dog?
On your side of the family.
Pass the iced tea.
4C, the official iced tea of the Davis family.
An advanced, independent, multi-link suspension system has helped give the Nissan 240SX rather remarkable road-holding capabilities. Now you can lease a 240SX for just $199 a month and $1,000 down for 36 months.
Most teachers struggle to convince students that they are more than just numbers in an impersonal system. But in one Bronx high school, some teachers are accused of treating the kids like racehorses, actually betting on who would cross the academic finish line. Mary Sevilla went to the school on Lafayette Avenue in the Soundview section for reaction.
That's not good, because right now the students here have like a bad rep because nobody's graduating. So now that makes it like we're supposed to look up to the teachers.
John Williams, a senior next year, says he knows that odds are many in his class won't graduate. Less than half did again this year. But he doesn't want to be part of anyone's betting game. The president of Stevenson High School's Parents Association told me at the graduation ceremony this year, same location we shot 3 years ago, she heard a teacher complaining how much he'd lost in the pool. A betting pool on how many kids would graduate. Jeffrey Zeitlin, a longtime whistleblower, said he'd heard similar talk in the halls.
I had heard a rumor last year that a guidance counselor won a couple of $100, but I just passed it off. I found out from 4 or 5 teachers and 2 supervisors that it is indeed going on. And another guidance counselor told me it's been going on for years. So this is why this is the first time I brought it to anybody's attention.
How much were they betting?
I was told that the numbers were about $2 a piece, and that one teacher lost $15.
No, I think it's kind of silly betting on how many students are going to graduate. It doesn't say much about the school itself.
Yeah.
And I work here.
Stevenson's acting principal, who is also the director of instruction citywide, says he doesn't think it's a good idea to bet on students. On the other hand, he doesn't like the idea of publicizing it, says it unnecessarily puts teachers in a bad light. Some might say, are betting pools really that bad? I mean, people bet on sporting events and all kinds of things.
Well, I found out about the fact that there was a football pool. I didn't do anything about that because I didn't think that affected students. But how do you bet on a human being?
The acting principal told me he's asking teachers to keep their bets to themselves next year. Mary Sevilla, News 4, the Bronx.
And New York City's Board of Education is meeting right now to talk about its search for a new chancellor. The list of candidates is said to be down to 3, with Bernard Gifford reportedly the front runner. Gifford now teaches in Berkeley. In 1988, he was deputy chancellor and was beaten out of the top job when the board chose the late Richard Green. The other 2 finalists are believed to be Waldemar Rojas and Gerald Tarazzi. Chancellor Joseph Fernandez leaves Wednesday. His contract wasn't renewed.
A Brooklyn man and his 2 young sons are in stable condition tonight after a suspicious fire engulfed their home early this morning. The fire broke out at 3:30 a.m. in the family's 2-story home in East New York. Firefighters say the flames were under control within about a half hour. The injured man and his 3-year-old and 6-year-old sons were treated for smoke inhalation. All 3 are in stable condition.
The death of a 19-month-old baby in Yonkers is apparently a case of murder. Yonkers police say the infant was found dead in its crib last Friday morning. An autopsy report released today shows the infant died of severe internal injuries. The Westchester Medical Examiner says it's a homicide case, but no arrests have been made so far. There's a happy ending to what had been a tragic story in the Bronx. 6-year-old Meg Nice made headlines just 2 weeks ago when her mother was charged with trying to throw her in front of rush hour traffic on the Grand Concourse in the Bronx. Now, just 2 weeks later, Meg is living the country life in her new upstate home. After her mother was taken into custody on the attempted murder charges, a Bronx court granted her older brother, William, and his wife custody of Meg. She says she's never going back to her hard life in the Bronx.
Well, up next on News 4, pretty woman Julia Roberts is now Mrs. Lyle Lovett. We'll have details of the surprise wedding. And singer Whitney Houston denies accusations of an overdose and threatens a lawsuit. Julia Roberts, who was nominated for an Oscar for her title role in Pretty Woman, is playing married woman tonight in real life. She married country singer Lyle Lovett, who sometimes sings blues. Well, yes, hopefully not after she's married to Julia Roberts, anyway. She married country singer Lyle Lovett yesterday in the town of Marion, Indiana, which happens to be the birthplace of actor James Dean.
I want the fairy tale.
She played opposite Richard Gere in Pretty Woman in 1990. 2 years later, she met country singer Lyle Lovett during the making of a movie, The Player, and yesterday they tied the knot. Lovett is a Texas-born singer who combines country and folk and a lot of things. The wedding with 75 guests was planned in just 2 days. And after 15 months of separation, the royal split is now official. Princess Andrew and his wife Sarah are now legally separated. They've been living apart since March of last year, while rumors flew that they might get back together.
Tonight, singer Whitney Houston is denying a report that she was hospitalized for an overdose of diet pills. Her attorney says she'll sue the New York Post over today's story. The Post says Houston, who starred with Kevin Costner in the smash hit movie The Bodyguard, became ill last week and was briefly treated at a Miami hospital. The paper says the singer was depressed over the weight she'd gained during her recent pregnancy. The hospital has no record of treating her, and Houston's lawyer calls the story a, quote, total fabrication. He says no one ever called him to check the facts. Well, the executives at Universal Pictures have got to be ecstatic over Jurassic Park. It is wiping out the competition at the box office. For the third straight weekend, the Spielberg blockbuster has come in at #1, taking in more than $28 million. Its three-week total now tops $170 million. Two new movies opened in second and third place, Sleepless in Seattle and Dennis the Menace. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Last Action Hero is fourth, and Tina Turner's life story, What's Love Got to Do with It, came in fifth place. Now wait a second, she only broke up, we're talking about Julia Roberts here, a little flashback here. She broke up with some guy 2 weeks ago, and she got married this weekend?
So she promised you, didn't she? She promised you, and you are ticked.
Left me hanging, yeah.
Well, strange things happen in the Hollywood world.
Yes, they do.
They weren't married in Hollywood, but you know what I mean.
And in Indiana also.
That genre.
Genre, yes. Well, you know,
what?
It was a fabulous night Saturday.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yes, it really was. 500,000 people jammed the Great Lawn in Central Park.
I'm amazed that for no money, Luciano, how many encores?
He did 5 encores.
That's generous.
Encores. It was a heck of a performance, and we have some tape now from one of the encores. It was just a great night of music. It was really wonderful. It was part of Channel 13's 30th anniversary, and not one person I was looking at, you saw almost nobody leave. A lot of people camped out from like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and they were there till after 10 o'clock at night. Nobody left.
He's a world great, and this was an opportunity.
It was really great. I'm just glad to be part of it. Anyway, I think
the weather.
Yeah, the weather.
The weather! Let's do that. You know, I knew I was sitting here. I'm looking at Luciano. I'm thinking, what else do I... The weather! Jeez. Okay, let's do that.
87 degrees, mostly sunny skies at Central Park. Right now, it's 98 degrees at Newark. Southwesterly winds at 7, relative humidity 52%. Barometer falling at this hour. The high for today, 92. Again, as we said, the record 96 back just in 2 years ago, 1991. The overnight low 71. There's your sunrise and sunset. And as we take a look at tri-state conditions, 90 in Morristown, 85 Atlantic City, 81 at this hour at Islip. On the satellite view, you'll see just what's going on. We've got a cold front getting ready to work its way in here. You can see clouds moving in on top of us. Look underneath the clouds, our live Doppler radar, and you'll see that we don't have really anything showing up right now. For the most part, we've just got an all clear, but we do look for some showers and thunderstorms working their way into the area. Reason for that, the weak cold front getting ready to push through. Winds right now out of the west, but once the front moves through slowly, we get the winds out of the northwest, hopefully pushing all of this out of here, but it may be a slow time. So for tonight, we are looking at showers and thunderstorms. The forecast, if you're going out to Shea Stadium, which we'd have to ask you why, but showers and thunderstorms. Hey, look, why can't I get on the bandwagon and kicking them when they're down, just like everybody else?
For God's sakes.
Sorry. Anyway, warm thunderstorms, game time temperature 84 degrees. I'm sorry for that display. And tonight we're looking for showers, thunderstorms, ending temperatures mid-60s north and west, upper 60s, low 70s everywhere else. For tomorrow morning, we're going to have variably cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 60s to the mid-70s. And then for the rest of the day tomorrow, you can expect to see partly sunny skies, less humid. Temperatures will be in the low to mid-80s, looking pretty good in the shorecast. Going to be nice at the beaches. Water temperature up to 61 to 66 degrees. Sorry for that outburst.
Up on Luciano, down with the Mets. Huh? Is that the way it goes? Oh.
Let's move along. Straight ahead as we continue a new and alarming report about pesticides and your kids' health. We have the latest.
Plus, some common drugs don't mix with a workout. Perry Pell says there could be serious side effects, and we'll tell you what you need to know after this break.
Introducing Friendly's new Chicken Oriental Salad. The new chef salad. And the new seafood salad. Each of which comes with a free yogurt or watermelon roll sundae. A friendly reminder that your salad days are just beginning.
It only takes a few quick drinks to be DWI in New Jersey. For a first offense, you will be arrested and you will lose your license. Makes you wonder why they call it the happy hour. A message from the New Jersey State Bar Foundation.
There is a disturbing report tonight about pesticides and their effects on children. The report comes from the prestigious National Academy of Sciences. And it says children may be 10 times more susceptible than adults to pesticide residues in food. Yet the government now regulates pesticides based only on the risk to adults.
Children may have rapidly developing tissues, which conceivably could be more susceptible to toxic effects of pesticides than adult tissues, which are mature.
The panel wants tougher regulations on the use of pesticides, but it also said that children need lots of fruits and vegetables, and parents should not restrict those foods from the dinner table.
If you work out, you should exercise caution. Perry Peltz tells us some common drugs could have unexpected side effects.
On an early summer day, 19-year-old Keith Lemmer took the antihistamine Drixoral for his allergies before playing basketball. After playing for a short while, he became lightheaded and nauseous.
My heart started racing at an irregular beat. My pulse was fast. I became jittery. I didn't know what was happening to me. I had to get off the court and stop playing.
Keith was okay after he drank plenty of water and rested for a while.
When Keith was taking the medication, he developed an inability to continue sweating normally. If you can't sweat, you can't radiate heat. If you can't radiate heat, your body temperature goes up and it can make you severely ill and you can even die.
According to Consumer Reports, antihistamines like Benadryl and the Drixoral Keith took are among some widely sold drugs that could increase your risk of heat illness.
Many gastrointestinal drugs, for example, the drugs Donitol or the drug Lomodal, contain what are called anticholinergic properties, which also may stop you from sweating.
Certain heart medications like Blocadren can also cause problems. If you plan to exercise in the heat, your medication may need adjusting. Keith's doctor switched his medicine, and Keith hasn't had a problem since.
If you're going to exercise on a hot day, wear light, loose-fitting clothing. Drink lots of water before, during, and after exercise, and drink more water than you need to satisfy your thirst. Perry Peltz, News 4, New York.
Well, after a break, we'll update our top stories on this Monday. Plus, we'll go live to Long Island for a story that's been developing all day, a grisly discovery made by police after a high-speed chase on the Southern Parkway.
And why so many pregnant women are seeking out the salad at a California eatery. Stay with us.
Don't throw it all away. Recycling is the law in New York City. You are required to recycle plastic and glass bottles and jars, metal cans, and aluminum foil. Place them in your recycling containers or the blue recycling bags available in stores. You also must recycle newspapers, magazines, catalogs, phone books, and corrugated cardboard. Tie these together with strong string in bundles no more than 18 inches high. To find out more, ask your super or call 212-219-8090.
Beautiful. Chrysler.
Your kid has a prototype, the Chrysler Concorde, made the automotive press rave. With features like dual airbags and new cab-forward design that gives it remarkable handling. Now the Concorde is available to everyone. And how well does the production car stack up against the prototype? One critic said it all. See if you agree. Test drive the new Concorde today.
I think
You're looking at. You were watching News 4 at 5, recapping our top stories. Bail was refused today for one of 8 men accused of plotting to blow up sites in Manhattan. And the alleged ringleader of the bomb plot once worked as a security guard at a bank in the World Trade Center. President Clinton today defended the U.S. attack on Iraq's intelligence headquarters, saying he was just doing his job. The strike was retaliation for an alleged plot to kill former President Bush. And when police raided a Queens safe house today, they found dozens of illegal immigrants held by a gang. We'll have more on that on News 4 exclusively at 6.
And at this hour, we have a breaking story on Long Island. State police are holding a news conference to explain a gruesome discovery. They pulled over a pickup truck in Mineola after a chase on the Southern State Parkway. Troopers found a body in the back of the truck. News 4's Roger Stern is live in Farmingdale with the latest. Roger?
Well, Matt, right now sources are telling News 4 that this man who police are tying to at least one homicide is now saying that he may have killed 17, if not more, other women. So the questioning is going on in this building behind me, and after they put all the pieces of this grisly story together, they will then brief us, the press. But state police tonight are calling this a lucky break because it began with the routine traffic stop of this man who then led police on a 20-minute chase.
Between 3 and 4 last night, 2 troopers on routine patrol on the Southern State Parkway attempted to stop a vehicle for a vehicle and traffic violation. Upon investigation of the original traffic stop and the accident, troopers discovered that there was the body of a female, a white female, in the back of the pickup. That's as far as we've proceeded at this point with that investigation. It is ongoing, and we're working on additional leads and information.
Well, here at State Police headquarters on Long Island, State Police, we should tell you, handled the original investigation, but there have been detectives here from Nassau County, from New York City, from Suffolk County, perhaps other jurisdictions. Obviously, what they are trying to do is confirm this man's story, track down the leads he has given them as to the other murders he apparently has said he committed, though police still have to confirm. State police say that they are waiting for things to fall into place, and sometime later, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, they will give us a complete briefing on what they have so far. What we know now, a man who apparently has been charged in connection with the death of one woman who has told police he has taken the lives of 17 other women, maybe even more than that. We will have more details as we get them tonight on News 4 at 6. Matt?
Okay, Roger.
Roger, do you expect more information by tomorrow or tonight? Do we have any idea when they're going to give us the rest of the details?
Well, they originally were going to hold a press briefing this afternoon, and I guess as this case became more and more complicated, they kept pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. Now they're talking about tonight, and they're not even guaranteeing that. Obviously, if what our sources tell us is correct, and this man is saying he took 17 lives, and they may not just be on Long Island, they then have to painstakingly go through all sorts of missing persons reports and try to coordinate all of this to make sure that before they hold their press conference and tell us, they can account for each one of these man's allegations.
Roger Stern, thank you.
When News 4 at 5 continues, is a major airline about to go belly up? We have the latest. Also, can a tiny worm with a very big appetite bring down some Hudson River piers?
And a New Jersey hospital that specializes in helping people change their looks without plastic surgery. Ew.
Whisk wants your worst.
With 3 teenage sons, we're talking the real worst.
But we're talking new double power whisk.
One of them blew up, a burrito.
And isn't toss the salad a stupid expression?
Every wash load is a collection of stains, and nothing gets out stains better than new double power whisk.
Oh, good, a late entry.
It's so thick with power, half as much cleans the worst wash load.
Even the grease is gone. Trust me, they're you, only cleaner.
New double power whisk. When you get out the worst, the rest is easy.
Even at 55 miles per hour, the sound inside the Lexus LS400 is so pure, we're able to record and air this performance on classical radio stations across the country. Listen for it. It's the latest release on the Lexus label.
Coming up on News 4 New York at 6.
Well, it looks like a peaceful country retreat, but it is a training ground for terrorists. Coming up at 6, Kevin Rosen reports from the Pennsylvania shooting range where terrorists may have honed their skills for the aborted attack on New York. Carol Beck has been counselor, mother, and friend to thousands of students, and now as the beloved principal of Thomas Jefferson High prepares to retire, Julian Phillips takes a look at the school and its guiding light. Now these stories and much more at 6.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the easy way to get a home equity credit line account at rates as low as this, listen to Bud Bash.
We're shooting for a new goal, $100 million in new loans. That means we'll be making loans to a lot of people with good credit, people who've had credit problems, even people who've had trouble getting a loan in the past. Call Personal Mortgage Corporation. When it comes to second mortgages, we approve, and with $100 million to lend, the faster the better.
The dream kitchen, the bathroom of tomorrow. Come to the Home Depot and we'll design your kitchen or bath absolutely free. Complete with Moen fixtures, offering the latest in elegant kitchen and bath faucets, like the European-styled pull-outs with spray and water-saving single-handled faucets. Home Depot kitchens and baths. Prices so low, you can afford your dream today. Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
Another major airline might soon go broke. Northwest Airlines officials say they could be in bankruptcy court by the end of the week if they don't get labor concessions. Northwest claims it lost $1 billion last year and is telling its major unions to ease up on wages and benefits, or Chapter 11 is next. Meetings between Northwest and its unions are underway today. Northwest says no matter what happens, it will keep flying.
New Yorkers who work in New Jersey may soon pay more in taxes. The New Jersey State Senate passed a bill today basing income taxes on the full income of New Yorkers who work in the Garden State, even if their working spouse is not employed in New Jersey. It's similar to what New York already does to New Jerseyans who work in New York. The bill now goes to Governor Florio for consideration. New Jersey stands to gain an extra $25 million a year in tax revenues. The Wall Street Bull may be heading west. The sculptor of this popular Bowling Green attraction says a Las Vegas promoter has offered him $300,000. Arturo Domodica says while he's bullish on New York, he needs the money. The city has been allowing him free use of the Bowling Green site for the past 3 years, but won't offer to buy the sculpture. So unless something changes in the next 90 days, it'll mean no bull for the city.
Well, from bull to worms, tiny boar worms have returned to the banks of the Hudson River, where they roto-rooter their way through wooden piers. Steve Dunlop tells us what kind of ammunition is best when you finally declare war on the worms.
They're called gribbles, minuscule creatures no more than 1/4 of an inch long, found in the cold salt water of the North Atlantic. And these are shipworms, a distant cousin of the clam. They can grow to up to 2 feet in length. New York Harbor hasn't had any gribbles or shipworms for almost a century because the water here has been so dirty. Or at least it used to be. Now it's almost too clean.
It is, in fact. It's one of the ironies of all the efforts that the city have had with cleaning up our harbor and good environmental practices, that we've now brought back the type of marine life which couldn't previously exist when we had the type of pollution.
Why are officials so alarmed at the return of these tiny creatures known collectively as boorworms? This is a good reason. Boorworms eat away the wooden pilings that line New York's waterfront. 12-inch thick timbers like these turned into virtual matchsticks. It's happened to this pier in Brooklyn, and it's happening elsewhere. Among the structures around New York that sit on vulnerable pilings are the FDR Drive, the South Street Seaport, portions of Kennedy Airport, and the piers at the passenger ship terminal on the west side. Some, like the India Street Pier in Greenpoint, are a haven for sunbathers and even fishermen benefiting from the cleaner harvest. That's a blue crab, huh?
Yeah, we got bluefish, striped bass, flounder, and eel, herring.
Many thousands of individual timbers are at risk. Each will have to be wrapped in plastic by a diver. That could cost into the tens of millions of dollars, a very large sum for such a tiny problem. Steve Dunlop, News 4 New York.
Still to come, pregnant women swear by it.
We'll take you to Los Angeles, where one restaurant's special salad supposedly sends women into labor. Plus Len with those laboring Mets. Sorry.
Someone wrote that before knowing what I was going to talk about. But we'll discuss the Mets at some time in the future. Coming up, only 16 are left standing down to the quarterfinals at the Big W. We will talk about Wimbledon. Plus, we'll also discuss what Jim Abbott was doing today in Harlem. We'll wait till 6 to talk about the Mets. Coming up at 5, though.
And
Well, there's a restaurant in Los Angeles that's become popular among a special group of women, and it has nothing to do with the quality of the cuisine. I'll get to that soon. Word is spread that a salad served at the Coyote restaurant on Laurel Canyon Boulevard induces a smooth delivery for pregnant women. So expectant moms are flocking to the place.
I drove all the way up here from Costa Mesa to get this little person out.
Doctors say a combination of olive oil and vinegar in the salad dressing could induce the uterus to contract in some pregnant women, but nobody seems to know for sure. We thought we'd mention it anyway, though.
Yes.
Just on the slight chance.
You got too much sleep again this weekend, didn't you?
I just love you and the combination of you and Pavarotti together.
It was a heck of a night.
All right, that's enough.
That's it. Forget about it. We did this already, and we did it to death. Let's take a look at your travel weather. Thank you. 83 tomorrow and partly sunny in Boston. Heavy thunderstorms stretching from Montana all the way down through the Mississippi Valley into the mid-Atlantic states. Some
Phoenix.
Thunderstorms. Phoenix 111. Is that a number to play or what? And partly cloudy.
I'm not a gambling woman.
You're not a gambling woman. No. Not given some of the stuff you do here. 69 and partly cloudy in Seattle. Anyway.
A little shot, a little reaction shot.
There you go. The 5 days ahead for you. Tomorrow, variably cloudy, 86 tonight, though we may have to put up with a few showers and thunderstorms. Wednesday, partly cloudy as well, 84 degrees. Then on Thursday, fair skies, 82, but the humidity returns in time for the weekend again, a high on Friday, 88. Saturday, hazy, hot, humid, afternoon thunderstorms possible, and a temperature of 92 degrees. So looks like more hot stuff coming our way.
It'll soon be July, you know.
Thank you for that tip.
That hot stuff will just keep going.
Soon it'll be July. A News 4 exclusive.
And it'll
John
be
Miller on
hot.
All right. You want to talk about the Mets? Is that it?
Well, you see, before the break, producer Diane Doctor said that she wrote in the script that I should have something about the Mets. So I don't want to disappoint the producer.
All right.
Yeah.
The Mets are off today.
All right.
There you go. And aren't we glad about that?
Wait. First, Al dumps on the Mets earlier.
He did?
Yes, he did. And I accused him of hitting them when they're down.
Yeah.
Now, our prestigious sports person.
Prestigious.
Or prestigious.
You know, they are going to set a record, so we shouldn't really be down. They are going to set a record.
All right, what is that record?
They will be more games out of first by the end of June than any team in National League history.
But when they start to win, you'll root for them again.
Well, we'll jump right back on the bandwagon.
Yes.
Well, absolutely.
We'll suck up just
We're
like
all
everybody.
front runners, absolutely. Wimbledon now down to the quarterfinals. Today's upset was on the women's side. This is number 3, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, and today she was facing number 15, Helena Suková, and Suková won the match, 6-3, 6-4, so that is a surprise. Suková, the lowest seeded woman to make it. Graf, Martina, Sabatini, Capriati, 4 of the others to watch in the quarterfinals, which begin tomorrow. On the men's side, this is Wayne Ferreira against Jim Courier. Courier seeded 3rd. Whips it by him. Ferreira slamming the net. The top 4 men's seeds, Sampras, Edberg, Courier, and Becker all in. Oh, here's Stich giving the crowd exactly what it wants. His smelly shirt. Yes, gets a big ovation. The Devils' new coach is Jacques Lemaire, the former Montreal Canadian Hall of Famer. The Yankees are back home to play Detroit tonight. This is the battle for 2nd place. And Yankee pitcher Jim Abbott on the mound. As you know, born with one hand, visiting the physically challenged ball-playing kids at the Rucker Playground in Harlem today.
How I hold the glove and take the glove off is catch the ball, take it, pull it out like that, take the ball, throw, and put it back on. If I'm pitching, I'll just hold the glove like this, make the pitch, and put the ball back on. If they hit it back up the middle, I'll just try to feel it the best I can. Like I always say, if it's hit too hard, I just get out of the way.
Big league advice. If it's hit too hard, Scoot. Sports. Back to you.
Thanks, Len.
Thank you. Well, Tom Brokaw joins us now with a look at what's ahead on NBC Nightly News at 6:30. Tom?
Thank you, Sue. Coming up tonight here on NBC Nightly News, of course, we'll have the latest on that raid in Iraq. Also, we need more jobs in this country. The problem is, how do you get people retrained? Well, one state does have a solution, job training that actually works. It could be a model for the rest of the country. So if you're unemployed or if you're thinking about switching careers, you'll want to watch this solution tonight on America Close Up here on Channel 4 at 6:30. So I'll see you then, Sue.
All right, Tom, thank you. Next, a unique alternative to plastic surgery.
Dr. Max reports from a New Jersey hospital where they are working wonders. We'll have that story when we come back. Stay with us.
Information